Winds one up. It's another cracker for the Yaya Toure collection.
Sent through for Jovetic. Looks to pull it back for Sami Nasri. And on he spills it. City are back level. And the race is on to get a winner. Clichy on the left. Clichy cuts it in. Goes to Jovetic. Toure! The captain's goal from Yaya Toure. Available, he's used by Nasri. Jovetic finds Clichy. First time cross from Cel Spellman to the near post. It's a goal for Jovetic. City 2-0 up. Clichy with another cross. It's met by a strong header. Frank Lampard has scored from off the bench.
In from De Bruyne, what a cross! And headed in by Raheem Sterling. And you will struggle to see a better cross. Toure. Toure winds one up. It's another cracker for the Yaya Toure collection. Kevin De Bruyne. Cracking ball in, it's another Manchester City goal, and Wilfred Bony is the beneficiary this time. Silva, De Bruyne. Bony won't get to it, but it is back with De Bruyne. He's got one for himself.
It's going to be Kun Aguero with an opportunity to give City the lead. Just 3 minutes played here in the Etihad Stadium. Could this be the first goal of the new season? Indeed it is for Kun Aguero. And once again, to the box, one to the cross, an opportunity, and the ball is in the back of the net. Manchester City have taken the lead. It was substitute Paddy McNair who turned the ball into his own net.
Good afternoon, Manchester City fans. Welcome along to Matchday Live. My name is Cel Spellman, and alongside me in the studio, two legends in the form of Andy Morrison and Paul Dickov. A slightly later start for us today, which means the team is already on your screen. You might have seen it. If not, let me just run you through it. It is Donnarumma, Mateus Nunes, Ruben Diaz, Josko Gvardiol, Nico O'Reilly. Then we've got Nico Gonzalez, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Ryan Cherky, Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland, of course, our opponents today, the Black Cats in Sunderland. Let's begin, I think, with the big news, and we're going to speak about it a little bit more later on. But Erling Haaland, quickest to 100 goals. We've got a very proven goal scorer here to talk about it. So, Andy Morrison, if you could just talk us through. First of all, talk us through this absolute screamer, please.
Nothing the keeper could do about City's third.
Yeah, I don't think he's got this in the locker, to be fair, the big man.
Tell you.
That your debut?
That was me, second game.
Second game.
Yeah,
second game.
Hold him away. Yeah.
So, you know a lot about scoring goals, Andy?
Yeah. Not as much as Paul does, so we'll let him talk about Haaland. I'll say how I think I could stop him.
Yeah. He used to do that every day in training, by the way, so it wasn't a fluke.
Just pick them out, really, yeah.
Just right foot, left foot, big man, wasn't it?
It's so impressive, though, isn't it, Paul?
It's ridiculous, and you run out of words to express how good he is, and it seems every other week there's a record that he's breaking. Some people break maybe 2 records, top players in their whole career, and he's at 25 years old already. For 100 goals, it's ridiculous, really, when you think about it. And I seen a thing from Alan Shearer during the week and saying that he's hunting them down. I don't see any reason why, if Erling stays fit, the amount of time he's got left in his contract, that he can't go and smash that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The most impressive thing about him, and I know Andy will back me up in this, we can talk about the goals, the finishes, right foot, left foot, sliding on the corner, smashing on the net, headers. His mentality to be better all the time.
Yeah.
He walks off the pitch with a hat-trick sometimes and he's still not happy.
Yeah.
He wants to score more goals, and that mentality for somebody so young, it would have been so easy for him when he first came in, 52 goals in his first season. Not to rest on your laurels, but think, I'm there now. But each season, each game, every time he plays, he wants to get better, and you can see that in even little things in the summer. I mean, You see players on their yachts and everything else, and he's running up like hills like that with his top off in 30 degrees, you know, and these little clips of his YouTube thing that he's doing now at the minute. Everything he can do to make himself like 0.5% better. That's the most impressive thing for me.
I was on with Sean Gota for the Leeds game, and we had a lovely interview with his dad Alfie, and he spoke about, which you'll both know as well, like his dad, when part of the team, was the consummate professional. You couldn't have had every little detail he was doing. So do you think a lot of it as well does come from Alfie a little bit, Andy? Obviously himself, but his dad as well.
You've got nature and nurture, haven't you? And obviously his father's like led him and shown him what's needed along the way, but there's something deeper within special players, special talents, and the ones that come to mind are obviously your Ronaldos and your Messis and Ibrahimovic and Thierry Henry, and there's something different in their mentality, Kel.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the numbers, and it's not about the targets. It's about being the best version of me and what I can be. I've been given these gifts. He's 6'4". He's a 100-metre sprinter. He's powerful. He can leap. He's got such power in both feet. So he's been given gifts. But how does he maximise that?
Yeah.
And I think he's got the manager that will never ever let up on him. So that every game you've got to go again.
Yeah.
Let's find out at the end. You make sure that when you actually come to that point, when you look back and you go, I left nothing behind, and that is what I could have achieved. And there's only so many, I think, that have got that mentality, and he's certainly one of them.
Yeah.
He just warms. You can't help but warm to him as a man, and the way he carries himself. To want to prove himself when he first came in and go to war with centre halves, and we saw it. Not so much now. He doesn't get involved in that because he's going, I need to prove myself.
Yeah.
And he would have these like little noses, and you could see that. And there was one time I think we were playing Brighton. Van Hecke caught him on the halfway line. He jumped up and sprinted, but as he sprinted, he turned back at Van Hecke and laughed at him, as if to say, like, you can't touch me.
Yeah.
And then he got in the box and nearly got in the end of something. There's something different about him.
His all-round game's got so much better as well
Yeah.
from when he first came in. I think especially this season. And I don't know whether it's the likes of Ilkay and Kev have left. I think he sees himself as a real leader in the team now, leading by example from the front. And the ball's coming into him now, and he's getting into centre halves.
Yeah.
They're not nipping in front of him as much as they used to do. And
just on that, Vicky, where the balls are coming into him as a striker, I do think that the coaches have got to take a little bit of credit, because we've got patterns of play now where we are actually moving the ball into midfield, where it goes round the corner into Haaland in one, and then Haaland, there's somebody supporting that.
Yeah.
Where in the past it might have been, this is how we play, but there's little predictable movements that the players can get used to.
Yeah.
Now Haaland is laying them off in one. He's not fighting so much because he's got somebody screening around the front. But I think the coaches have got to take credit for that, Dickie.
I do, and I think that we're using his strengths more. The last couple of seasons, and we can see it. I'm not saying he walks around, but when he's not involved in the play, he just waits on something happening. He waits on somebody to put the ball in behind. But as Andy said, there looks a structure about how they're playing out when it goes into him.
Yeah.
It's coming into him, he's laying it off and he's spinning, or he's laying it off to somebody that's going out wide and he's getting the box. And there's these little patterns of play that I think we're using his physicality and his strength to benefit him more, rather than just being an out-and-out goal scorer.
Yeah, completely. How would you stop him, Andy?
Cal, I've watched it many times, and we spoke about this at length midweek game. And when you've got the two centre halves against him, and I thought, I'm just trying to think of the game before. The Fulham game.
Leeds.
Yeah, the Leeds. I thought the two did a good job on him because we didn't have anyone getting alongside him. But Reinders kept getting beyond, and he kept catching the other centre-half's eye. And when you make them runs, so Bassi kept getting attracted by Reinders, which then left a one-on-one.
Yes.
With Haaland and the other centre-half, and with Anderson, and he'll do you. So you've got to try, and if you've got 2-on-1, one can grab him and wrestle him, and then the other one can deal with the ball. But if you get into where you're trying to deal with Haaland and the ball, you're in trouble. Because when it gets to that final moment, when one of our players cross a ball or pull a ball back, you can't try and find Haaland. You've just got to deal with the ball.
Yes.
Because his movement is that good. So don't get attracted to him. Just go to the ball as if you were the striker trying to get there first.
Yeah.
And you can put it into Rosette.
It must be so difficult.
It is so hard.
To not get attracted by the aura he's got, he's goal scorer, and you must, at some point, think, I've got to pick him up all the time.
I've got to try and get hold of him. And then he enjoys that as well, Dickie. He wants that confidence. Because if he knows where you are, I try and say, I know it I try and stay blindside of him so he can't see me. Because when he can see you, he waits and waits and waits, and he bullies you.
Yeah.
And then he makes his movement. You'll see him many times where he'll bump the centre half and then sprint and make a run. If he makes a sprint, he might get bumped. So there's a game going on all the time.
There's nothing worse as a centre forward, and look, by no means am I comparing myself to the big man. in many ways. But if the ball was coming up to me, I used to love to feel the centre half, and I think he's the same. He used to like to know where they are.
Where they are.
If it's coming up to you and you can't see them, you can't touch them, it puts a doubt in your mind about what you're going to do next, you know.
And also, and I was reading something which I thought was a great point. Is that also? He's obviously done it off his own back, but partly why we're also maybe seeing even more now from Phil Foden, because he gets that bit of extra room and space because Haaland is occupying so much of the defence.
And I think Phil gets more space in between the lines because whether teams play three centre, sometimes they play three centre halves, the three of them are picking up Erling.
Yeah.
And that's creating space for Phil. But on the flip side, when Phil does get in the ball, I think Erling's loving it because he knows that if he can make the little run down the side, that Phil's got the ability to pick him out.
Yeah, they were both in imperious form in the game, obviously earlier in the week. Fulham, we have to talk about it, gents. I mean, what a game of football for the neutral. I mean, I was quite stressed towards the end of the game. The Diaz clearance to make sure we got the win. Andy, what was your assessment?
Yeah, well, it
5-1.
It was. You know, we were joking about it. You know, at 5-1, like we had the sunbeds out, and we were cocktails, and everybody was within the room. and then it's just crazy. But statistically, you know, we spoke about this before. But the chances of them doing what they actually did, I mean, that was brilliant. That strength in there, and then somebody running beyond him, which always is stretching the opposition.
I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, he was, and. But you know, before you know it, it's back 5-2, 5-3, and you're thinking it can't go to 5-4.
Yeah.
And then you know, at one point, you know, it should have been 6-2. It was that kind of game.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, we're just watching Ryan, and he sits the keeper down. We spoke about that before the game as well. Why we thought he was playing, and he'll stretch, and it'll be that kind of game where it turnovers, and can we get and stretch their back line to create space? Where maybe today, instead of a running 10, you've got Cherky who's more of a ball playing 10. I mean, this year, it's phenomenal. Because again, I said to Paul before, I mean, the stats over a season are 1% that you score from the second phase from the edge of a box. And you had 2 in one game. And this year, now that touch is always the outside of his foot, and then he gets it off. I mean, look how close Session is to actually getting to him.
But he uses
to get around him.
To
find that far corner. And, I mean, Leno can't get anywhere near it. Oh, you know, it's brilliant. And again, I think that's reflective really of the form that Foden's in.
Yeah.
And if you were to say one player's going to pick up a ball on the edge of the box, move it out with their feet and find it, everyone would say it will be Foden.
Yeah.
Because of the way he's playing.
And then they think this is the document.
Yeah, fortuitous that really, because it's hit the back of Haaland's heel.
Great assist by the centre forward.
Yeah, but when we see it back, it's remarkable how those little things. But what I'm saying in that, Paul, he said it in midweek, was we're actually Doku now. Just go and ask a question. Yeah. And put the ball into areas that defenders don't want. Don't come back out now and recycle possession and get back up the pitch.
It's a great ball.
Into a great ball, it was, and it couldn't. And then, but it's his right foot.
That's more difficult than what people think.
Yeah, you know, I think
away from him and he's on his weaker foot.
For Phil's finish?
Look how close the keeper is to him. But all you've got to do there is just concentrate and hit the target.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when it's coming in your weaker foot, you try and overcompensate for it but he's just natural. Have you
either of you played in them games? Because as you say, like it's such a rarity, I think, for how then the back half of the game played out, where it's just like it's the footballing gods. There's an energy shift that you just suddenly can't get on top of it. Have you had them games, and is that what kind of happened almost?
I had a couple with Leicester that was ridiculous. That we went to Wolves and were 4-0 up at half time. And it could have been 8-9-10, but then they scored to make it 4-1 just after half time, and the next 30 minutes were a blur. Yeah. Before we knew it was 4-4, and we were clinging on at the end of the game. Yeah. And the following week we went away to Middlesbrough and were 3-0 up at half time and ended up losing the game 4-3. And it's just one of the things, when you get stuck in that rut in the pitch, people say experienced pros can sort that out. It's like a whirlwind, Andy, when it happens.
Absolutely. I've had it in management where I've actually experienced it, where we're 2-0 up and the opposition to go down to 10 men and lost the game.
And
you can't see it. You're talking to your assistant, but players are doing crazy things. People are doing something, dropping inside, putting balls in the top corner from thing. You're trying to change the shape. You're trying to nullify the opposition, and it does happen. Rarely will you get 4 shots off in the second half like they did, and score them all. I mean, the goal before half time from the second phase on the corner is something. And I think it's really important that you learn massive lessons when you win.
Yeah.
And the Newcastle game was a huge one, where a manager can come onto the pitch and speak afterwards when the players are up because of the points, and you can get real key points where you might hurt them a little bit if you'd drawn or lost the game.
Yeah.
It might be personal, but because you've won, you can get them out. And I think there's areas of defending that this week or the last couple of days that are really important on the back of a victory, where we can say, look, we have to be better on the second phase.
Yeah.
We have to look at the edge of the box. We have to look at areas where we're actually coming. When we came out, I think it was the third goal, if we see them back, we're disjointed, and there's not an organisation to who's leading us when we come out. I think then a little ball goes down the side, a little chip back, and then Smith Rowe with a header.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that were wrong that led to that goal instead of going in at 3-0. And I think this week it's a really good opportunity for Pep Linders and the manager and Carlo to go in there and look at it and say, we've got to be better, make sure this doesn't happen.
Because as much as they'll be doing that, opposition teams will be looking at that as well.
That's what.
I'm thinking over the last couple of games, have a look at this. And the way the Premier League now is, the analysts that teams have got, they study absolutely everything. So it's important that they get that sorted. But on the flip side of it, I look at the Leeds game last week, and scoring that goal after Phil's goal in the last minute to put the 3-2 up, and then even during the week, people will say, look, it was 5-1 back to 5-4. I think they're a massive 6 points.
Yeah.
And I think for the players, all right, they won't like conceding the goals, but I think it's going to give them a massive, knowing that you're not playing well and that you're conceding goals, but I walked away with 6 points, and possibly it could have been 2.
Yeah.
It could really have been 2, but
Yeah,
take
yeah.
6 points out of that, knowing you've not played well, I think they'll go out there today.
And just, the final point as well, just only because I saw the keepers there as well, when you said about we're conceding these goals, and you mentioned this before we came on live, and Pep spoke about this in his conference, that he's actually not too worried, because it just seems at the moment we're in a rare case of every shot on target has resulted in a goal. Fulham, 4 goals from 5 shots on target. Leeds, 2 goals from 2 shots on target. That man down there, Donnarumma, is not going to be happy about it, but there is something in that.
He's not, and look, there's obviously a slight problem conceding 6 goals in 2 games, but it's not as if we're conceding
20
6,
chances,
7, 8, 9, 10 chances a game with other teams. When Donnarumma's had to make 7 saves in a game to keep us in it, to have 2 shots on goal and get 2 goals, then 4 out of 5, it just shows you the fine lines in these games.
It's great header, that. It's great header.
Yeah, it is, but again, it's leading up to it. There's 2 or 3 poor decisions. The actual player who's on, this is the one that what I said, where it dropped line. If we see it again from the other side, there's actually 3 or 4 yards outside the box. See, when it just hits the back there of his heel,
that can go anywhere.
And that's twice that's happened.
Yeah.
You've got to see the finishes.
The finishes
Brilliant.
are brilliant. And again, this from the corner. I just think, can Savinho maybe his body language just a little bit more there to get and stop that, because that's his job. And on the first goal that they scored, Kel, from the head from Smith Rowe, Doku is doing the pocket of space, like everybody's in their zones, and Doku does the pocket of space or anything that comes to the edge of the box. But Doku runs out as if he wants to score the 4th goal and go 4-0 up, because looked like there was a counter on, and then the ball gets played back into where Doku should in that little pocket.
Yeah.
It's that defensive instinct that you have, and that forward players don't have it sometimes. Jeremy's obviously, and he's wanting to, as Andy said, go and score the 4th goal.
Get 4-0 up at half-time.
It's the minute before half-time. I'm just going to sit in here at the minute.
Yeah. Well, we got the win though. That is the big old
6
thing.
6 points, 2 games.
And of course, we start the show speaking about the big man up top, Erling Haaland. There is a brilliant podcast episode coming out. The Rest is Football. It's with Alan Shearer, Gary Lineker. It's out on the 10th of December. We've got an exclusive clip here we can bring you from that very, very special episode. Of course, celebrating Haaland being the fastest to reach 100 Premier League goals.
Well, a bit of history's happened in the last few days. Erling Haaland is joining us. How was it to know that you've beaten his record quite comfortably, I must say, by 13 games?
Yeah, so obviously I knew for a time that the 100 goals was possible to break. I'll be honest to say that. But again, when it happens, it's amazing. Like with the Fulham game, it's piece of history, if you want to say, and of course it's a huge thing in the end to be able to see, first of all, a list with the many great players and also to beat them as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. I kept on looking at. Well, he hasn't scored. It was, what was it, 2 games that you hadn't scored for in the league?
In Premier League,
Big goal drought.
But it was always going to happen, and yeah, I'm delighted for you. You deserve it, because you just made it look so easy. It's not. You're playing in the best league against some of the best defenders. You've been here 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
Honestly, how have you found it? Because you make it look stupidly easy.
It's really hard. I've said it before. Since coming from Germany, it's different. It's more physical. The contact, it's just like, even playing against Fulham, it's a top team. Look at the game. It's 5-4 in the end. It's incredible.
When you talk about the size of defenders, they must look at you and think, look at the size of him. You must love that side of things.
Yeah, it's nice, and I am a bit old school in a lot of things because of my father. Running, tackling, all these kind of things is a nice thing, and also like. You never see me with playing with gloves. It's because my father would hit me if I did, So I'm a bit old school as well. So that's why I like it as well.
Great stuff. That is an exclusive clip from The Rest is Football. Erling Haaland there with Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer, of course, whose record he beat. That is out on the 10th of December. Funny as well there, again, speaking about the influence of his father there as well. And he had all those things, didn't he, Alfie?
He did. He couldn't score goals, though. He must take after his mother on that front to get it done. No, he did. Look, we were both with Alfie for a bit, and he was a top professional.
And the standards. That's what stand out for me. And when I remember the way he trained, the way he conducted himself, the way he ate, the way he carried himself every single day in training, and that will be what you've seen in his son. Making sure that, listen, make sure you're the best version of you.
Completely different players, but you can tell the mentality's
for sure.
It's been rubbing off from a very young age.
I also love as well no gloves. My dad always said that to us as well.
Please,
Andy, come on, can't be having no gloves. Never saw you wearing gloves, did we, Andy?
Please.
No vest, short sleeve.
So, in honour of Erling Haaland scoring 100 Premier League goals in 111 games, we've got a list of the 10 players who did it in the quickest. So it begins with Michael Owen, took him 185 games, Les Ferdinand 178, Robbie Fowler 175, Ian Wright 173, Mohamed Salah 162, Thierry Henry did it 160, Aguero 147, Harry Kane 141, Alan Shearer 124, Erling Haaland 111. I need between you two, now we're going to chat this through, to whittle that down to a top 3. So here they are in all their glory. Where shall we begin? Who's the one that you want to kind of take off the list to begin with?
Take off the list or include what we don't.
We'll take off. We're going to whittle it down to your top 3.
Top 3 without Erling.
No, I mean I'm guessing Erling's in there, isn't it? Erling's got to be in the top 3.
I think you've got to put Shearer in.
Yeah, Shearer's got. I mean, I was looking at there. I played against 3 and I played with Alan Shearer. So I'd say Shearer. It's only just 13 games difference. So I think with his record of 2-6-1, is it? I think he's got to be in there.
What was he like when you?
I get asked the question a lot, Kel, because obviously what Haaland's doing and how do they compare? Because I train with him every day, and he did. There was a mentality that changed. There was something that changed in his whole demeanour and his body language and his eyes on a match day that wasn't there during training. Maybe because he was training against me, I don't know. Maybe he said, I'd stay away from him in training. But when it came to match day, when he came in, there was something changed. And the way, there was no respect for any opposition or whatever, and he had that aura about him. And everybody knew, what he's capable of. And I see the similarities there in Haaland. There's just this presence that they had, and Shearer had that as well. So there's 2.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. You look at Michael Owen at such a young age as well.
Yeah.
Robbie Fowler. Yeah. Les Ferdinand. But I've got to go with my mate Ian Wright.
Yeah.
Purely because how late he came into the game. And probably the opposite from Alan. Right, every day in training would score a goal as if he'd celebrate it as if he just won the World Cup. Goals were everything to him.
Really?
He was I don't know if I've told this, he was like 30 goals, winning the Golden Boot, England's number 9, every single day after training, everybody would be home. He'd be out in the pitch with a bag of balls on his own, no goalkeeper, just hitting the back of the net.
Really?
He just loved it. And they would say stupid things like, there'd be nobody there and they would hit it in the net and he would say to me and a couple of other young lads who was about, he would say, did you hear that? And we'd be like, nobody there. And he'd be like, the ball hitting the back of the net. His enthusiasm to score goals, I've never seen anything like it.
Wow. And I guess with that as well, is that then does it breed then into the squad as well when you've got that kind of energy?
The infectious enthusiasm, right, he had in everybody on a match day, even going into training. You know, some days in training, I'm not saying you don't fancy it, but it's a bit of a, he's coming in, he's laughing, he's getting everybody at it.
Yeah.
But he realises the opportunity he got. You know,
there's a humbleness there, Paul, isn't there?
It was
that I think that players and human beings can't help but warm to.
Yes.
When you see that humbleness and those players that have been mentioned, they had that about him. And Erling has it. You know, Shearer had it.
Yeah. It's good point,
Wrighty had it. It's just this. There's just no ego, and you can't help but respect that and follow that. You know.
Is there something, can we make the argument as well, because I'm looking in the middle of this list here. I mean, Thierry Henry and Mo Salah, obviously only 2 games between them reaching 100 Premier League goals, but they've done it from more of a wide position, which is
I'd argue with Wrighty and with Sergio. I really would.
Yeah.
You know, in there, you know, I think the two take care of themselves, and then the rest is based on opinions, and obviously he worked with to know him, but you know, Sergio's brought us so much joy.
He was the best.
Yeah.
Even when you're looking at that between Sergio and was it Salah and Henry there's like 40 games between Erling. That's a season.
Yeah.
That's a season.
That's so true.
That's a season. He's ahead of these, and he's 25 years old.
Yeah.
You know, they all done that later in their career. So what's now to come from Erling?
Yes.
It's incredible that he's a season ahead of someone. He's some of the best players we'll ever see in the Premier League.
But going back to that, and Thierry Henry is always one that I see a lot of ex-players talk about as well, because he was unplayable, but it is impressive how quick he did it to say he was coming in off the wing and wasn't necessarily an out-and-out striker.
It was, and when Wrighty broke the record, or got his there and broke the Arsenal record, you thought it was never going to be broken. You know, and Thierry Henry comes in, and it was incredible what he done. Harry Kane as well, but it's the longevity that they've done it over. Yeah. When you look at compared to Erling, which makes it even more impressive.
Do you feel as well, Paul, I think you said this, but Andy, what Paul mentioned, if he fulfills his contract, Erling Haaland, it feels there is no record that can't be broken, the sky is the limit, not to point out the obvious?
No, I think, because as Paul alluded to earlier on, he keeps, it's not just one record, he keeps doing them. The next thing will be the amount of hat-tricks that, he'll just keep rewriting the history books. Yeah. And if he does stay and he stays fit, then that's a huge part in football. I mean, is keeping yourself fit and not missing that season, or picking up an injury that keeps repeating itself. But he looks such a specimen. Yeah. I can't see him getting injured. Yeah. Do you know what?
Andy, sorry to cut you off. We're going to announce the top 3, but we're going to bring you these pictures of Manchester City fans celebrating a second Aston Villa goal to make it 2-1 in the 95th minute. Come on!
Wow.
Is it finished yet though?
Oh, is it finished? I just love a late goal against
Arsenal. We called it the other way, didn't we?
I just love a late goal against Arsenal.
Cal, I think we cried that in, didn't we? With the same, it's obvious Arsenal will get, they'll get a winner now. I know, we cried.
I'm also just thinking of all my mates who are Arsenal fans. That's class. It's full time.
What a result!
That's now. Does it make it even today? Make it even bigger to get the 3 points.
It's big today, and knowing the players and everything else we've got here, they'll be fully concentrating today. But it just shows you how it can change. Yeah. This time last week it was 8 points. Wow. 8-9 days ago. Yeah. We win today. Yeah. It's down to 2 points. Yeah. And we're the serial winners at chasing teams down. Yeah. But it's still so early. It's changing. And it's changing all the time.
For sure, and it's only till, as Pep always says, once you get into March, then you get to see. Obviously, that does put Villa as well 2 points ahead of us.
the outcome is on.
It does. When we talk about us getting that kind of last-minute winner against Leeds, that's got to be great for Villa, but so deflating for Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it seems like we're stating the obvious. It is so early in the season, but it seems to have been a season where so many teams have run into form. I mean, 6 or 7 games into the season, Cal, we were saying Liverpool's title.
Run away with it.
Nobody will stop them this year. And then the way they fell away, and then we had a little bit of a blip, and then, we win today, we go within 2 points, and Arsenal come to us, in the new year, and it's just wide open. It's a remarkable season. I said this on Wednesday. We talk about the 4 in a row. And we talk about the treble and everything. I think the Centurion, will never be done again.
I agree.
Because I think the power of the Premier League now is that you can't pick a game and you see like 2 or 3 fixtures coming up and you go, well, there's 9 points there, but we'll take a minimum of 7. I don't think it's like that anymore.
It's not at all. And even the other night there in Liverpool, the form they were in, and just won 2 games in a row, you think Sunderland going to Anfield.
Yeah. And did more than enough to earn the point.
2 seasons ago, you're thinking that's going to be 3-4. Yeah. Before the game, I'm thinking Sunderland have got a chance here.
Bournemouth away, Fulham away, Brentford. They're just games now that aren't.
Well, but I don't know if we can bring up the Premier League table, but even they're sat in there, not just in like the lower half of the table. Is it Crystal Palace? I think Sunderland there. I think is it Palace 5th. Yeah. Sunderland 6th, Brighton 7th. I mean, Everton as well.
Who wants to go to Everton
as well?
Kelly, look at Chelsea down to Everton. It's 3 points.
Gosh, I didn't even clock that. Wow,
it's just like it's so tight, and Andy's bang on. For me, this is the most competitive Premier League that we've seen ever.
But I think we've seen it, Cal, grow over the last couple of years. I mean, I've been working with Ali now the last couple of seasons, and I've seen teams like Brentford come, and I've seen Bournemouth come, and I've seen them be able to keep the ball for long periods of time, and every team are adapting and improving, and they're adding every single year when they stay in the Premier League because of obviously the financial side of it. They're able to bring in another 2 or 3 additions, and they're creating squads now that are so powerful that to have them runs that we spoke about, like what City have done, those 98s and those
that's not going to happen again.
I can't see it.
No, I agree. Going back, to our other conversation, because again we were just bringing the news that Aston Villa have scored a 95th minute winner against Arsenal. Come on. We were asking you to choose your top 3 strikers. So we've put. And then we're going to ask you to vote on a number 1. You guys at home, we've got a poll going out. We're saying Erling Haaland. We're saying Alan Shearer, and then a toss-up between.
I feel really bad now. So I'm going to get battered for not saying Sergio.
No. I think
it's only because look, the influence.
You've worked with him and you've seen him.
Yeah, the influence he had on me as a young kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the football club as a whole was incredible. For somebody who was working in a building site at 23, 24.
That's
to
amazing.
come in and do what he did. That's why I just give him the edge a little bit.
So we'll put him right now. I quite like that.
I'll go with it. I'd rather rock paper scissors to decide who we're going to do. But if you want righty, you have righty.
Shall we fight?
No.
Go on, we'll put Ian Wright in there. I like that. We'd all want Sergio Aguero, but we've got Erling Haaland there for City. Yeah. We'll put Alan Shearer in there, and we'll put Ian Wright as well as the 3. So if you want to get involved on our poll, you can do just that. Go on YouTube, cast vote away, and we'll bring you that results in a little bit. Now, a player as well that has been on this Matchday Live show. He's not in the studio today. He's pitchside, Mr. Niall Quinn. Let's see what he's making of today's game.
Yeah, welcome to Pitchside, where I'm joined by a man who had, his foot in both camps, really, and in many roles, actually, at Sunderland. Former City striker, Niall Quinn. Niall, you're very, very welcome back to the Etihad Stadium. I guess on a day like this, I have to ask you, which side are you on?
I'm afraid of my life. Most of my stuff on me is blue. There's a red tie. I'm scared stiff that I'll say the wrong thing and one set of fans won't speak to me anymore. But I'm really looking forward to it. It was lovely to be asked along. The club got in touch with me and said because of the game that was in it would I come. And then the problem started, Okay, what do I want? What the result, the best result? But I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Sunderland have something about them now. They can come to games like this, and they're organised really well by their manager. And I think Man City won't underestimate them. I think that's for sure. But of course, Man City are at home. Looks like Arsenal are drawing. Not long left in that game, so there could be a great opportunity for City to get right back in it. So there's a lot there, but. Geez, if it was a draw, I think I could get out. I could get out of here okay, I think.
Because you, as well as on the pitch, you also had a big involvement off the pitch. Tell us about your role at Sunderland and what exactly it means for you to see them back in the Premier League.
It's great. I have nothing but admiration for behind the scenes what's happened, and I know how difficult it is to run a football club. We huffed and puffed and we did okay in my time, but what's happening now seems to be built on a much better platform. And remarkable, the chairman, 28 years of age. I mean, when I was 28, I certainly wasn't in the space where I thought I could go off and do something like that. I had to be nearly 40 when I did it. He's been doing it for a few years now. The team behind the scenes, the recruitment, of course, which is a key component to all football clubs, whether they're successful or not. And I really admire the way the recruitment worked in the summer. Because of the way they came up through the playoffs, they hadn't spent money in the last couple of years, so they were able to spend some, and they look to have done it really wisely. Although they will lose some players to Africa to the Nation Cup when that, I think they go on the 15th of December. So the more points Sunderland build up before that, the better.
Just going back to that role, how much of an eye-opener was it for you?
Well, it was incredible. The first day, I came in a few days before the first game, and our conference and banqueting manager came up and said, "I'm leaving. I'm joining Darlington." So that'll give you an idea where things were at the time. And he went off to Darlington, and the rest, he had to try and start from there really. And we didn't have a manager at the time, so I had to step in. I had to do training. I had to go down to London because there was a problem with a bank. They wouldn't allow us to take over the debt. We had to pay off the debt, and it was, there's loads of things going on in that first few weeks. But I think the people backed me, and they knew what we were trying to do. We knew it was difficult, and Roy Keane came in fairness to Roy, and he brought a whirlwind of, I suppose, Roy Keaneism into the city, and not just the dressing room. And it was a lovely time. We did a couple of great years there, and I look back now and say, what was I doing? How did I ever get involved? But I suppose there was a hunger there for me, because I left on funny terms. I wasn't part of the new manager's plans, and I thought I was going to be there forever. One of those kind of things. And so when the opportunity came to come back, I grabbed it, and some great people supported me, and they trusted me. And look, we had our bad days, but we had some good days too. But I think there's something far more healthier about the current Sunderland setup.
Well, you mentioned good days and bad. Is that how you would describe your time at City as well?
Yeah, look, I came to City, and Howard Kendall signed me. He was unbelievable for me. He made me believe in myself. They played the game around me. As I was at Arsenal, and I didn't, it wasn't just humped up to Niall Quinn. There was all different ways of playing. And Alan Smith had come, who was a very good player technically, as you know. So I lost my way a bit at Arsenal, but it all came back here. And poor Howard, he passed away, a young man, but he made me feel like I could be three players in one. And I'll never forget that time, that first full year. We stayed up really healthily. We'd 9 games to go. I signed. We were in the bottom 3. I then can remember the year after, I think I got 22 goals. I was just enjoying the moment so much. And then Howard left. Peter Reid took over, and we did okay. We finished 5th again. But the lads across the road were starting to win things, and 5th wasn't good enough. And it, it was a pity, because I think we were probably a goal scorer away from actually making the next step up. And then things unravelled pretty quickly. And then, the worst day was the 2-2 draw, Liverpool, and
everyone talks about your part in that.
Well,
what's the truth in there?
Yeah, well, I think I signed my death warrant in terms of what the manager and the coaching staff thought of me. But it was the right thing to do. I'd still say it was the right thing to do. Our bench hadn't got word that Southampton had scored. I think it was Southampton, and they wouldn't listen to me. They said, no, they haven't. I said, they have, and they went, no, they haven't. Sit down. There's only a couple of minutes left, and Stevie Lomas was holding the ball in the corner. I went, Stevie, you got to get it in the box. And that was probably the last act of my Manchester City career, and obviously just the worst day ever. None of us were prepared for relegation. It was an awful time, but great to see what's happened to the club since. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Just one thought before you go. I mean, I remember so many things about you, but I particularly remember you were co-commentator on the day of the Aguero goal.
Yes.
Will that remain one of your highlights as a broadcaster?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a true story. Martin Tyler went to the toilet at half-time, and I was bored, and I read his notes, and he had everything covered, whatever eventuality, as he would, so professional. So when that crazy last few minutes happened, Dickov gets the header, obviously City are pressing. I knew he had it covered whatever way it happened, and so when he did get on after Aguero's goal, and he gave the big long Aguero, he had loads of O's written on his page. So I knew he was going to do that anyway. So I'd come in at the end then, and not so memorable at all. But at a dinner that night that Sky, the directors, had for us in Manchester, the boss got up and said, Martin Tyler was your finest piece of commentary unbelievable. And Niall Quinn, it was your finest too, because you kept your mouth shut. So I got a pat in the back for keeping my mouth shut.
Well, you've not kept your mouth shut for us, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always lovely to see you.
You too, I'll see you. Thanks for having me.
Niall Quinn, back to the studio.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ali, and thank you to Niall Quinn as well, obviously friend of the show and great to have him on. What a little bit of insight there that he had the O's written down, Martin Tyler, fantastic. And you said there, Andy, just while we were watching that, one of the hardest players you played against.
Yeah, the most difficult player physically.
Right.
Obviously, there's like pace would affect me, and I always could hold my own. You know, whether Hartson or Viduka, I always felt like I could compete. But he was a different animal altogether because I was just saying to Paul, he was 6'4", touching 5, and he was huge. He had an unbelievable touch, and he was, you know, he could pick up the line of the ball very quickly.
Yeah.
And you couldn't bump him, and without a shadow of doubt, my most difficult opponent.
Yeah, and you said there as well, Paul. Technically, how good?
I was a young kid coming through at Arsenal. I actually used to clean Niall's boots.
No way,
yeah,
Paul. Wow.
They were a bit that. Rather than put my hand in to clean them, his feet were about that size, but his first touch for a big fella is one of the best.
Yeah.
And best thing is what an unbelievable man as well. You know, been fortunate enough to be in his company a few times away from football, and just so humble. But what a player he was as well.
You got him in your top 5 of strikers of all time now, Quinn, I believe, or Graham's just said. Producer Graham.
They wants to ask me first, didn't they?
Producer Graham there, telling me down the garden path. That would be good though, actually. To get, we should do that.
I'll put him in there.
You put him in there.
Yeah,
thanks, Paul. Gosh, guys, this is fun, man. We've not even done the Sunderland team news, so let me quickly bring you Sunderland's starting 11. And what a season the Black Cats are having. So it's Roufs in net. Then we have Mukiele, Gertruda, Ballard, Alderete, Hume, Siddiqui, Xhaka, Traore, Lafie and Isidore completes the starting 11. That's the subs there on the right-hand side for you to have a little read through. I mean, there's a lot we can probably begin with. I just want to begin with, Andy, though. How impressed have you been with Sunderland? Are you surprised for how good they've been and where they are in the table?
I'm absolutely blown away, Cal, by what they've done. When I saw them beat Sheffield United, and listen, to move away a little bit from the romance of it all, there's 2 players that are starting today that played against Sheffield United in the playoff final. So their recruitment's been magnificent, you know, and there's been 180 million that's been spent to put this together. So, but you know, when they finished, I thought they would struggle.
Yeah.
You know, because I've seen how the 3 teams last year went up and then straight down the season before, and I just thought, God, these are, you know, the game was the sort of game that these are going to struggle in the Premier League. But their recruitment's been brilliant, and that's a huge player that they brought in there, which every single team that are successful or can hold their own and stay in games need people like him in their team. You know, we've had them over the years in Ferradinho, Rodri, in so many different formats. But that
Barry,
the way he carries himself on the pitch and what he demands of everyone, and he has such high standards. You know, I really like him. I think he's been a fabulous addition for them.
I think he's such a clever signing.
Yeah.
You know, so you see, Andy's talking about the teams that have come out the last few years and went straight back down. They've made more glamour signings.
Yeah.
Without they've looked at him and seen what a leader he is.
Yeah.
His experience in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And to
one
get
of the best leaders, Paul.
Yeah, he is. And to get him in there with a team that, you know, Andy said there's 9 players on the pitch today that weren't here last season.
Yeah.
So you need that experience. You need somebody in there to let them know what the Premier League's all about. And he's been brilliant.
And as you say as well, it's important to point out they did spend a lot of money, but you need to try and compete with the Premier League. But it's been amazing recruitment, and as you say, that you look at the last few seasons, no other team coming up has been able to do what Sunderland have done.
And the biggest respect to comparing, they're not hanging in there in any games.
No.
You know, they're having a right go at teams, and people are talking about them Stadia Light, which historically has always been such a tough place to go.
Yeah.
But you know, to go to Anfield the other night, they should have beat them. They're playing with.
I think they're due a flat one, Paul. I really think they're due a flat one.
Yeah. Well, I hope that is.
Let's hope it's today.
I have to say though, I'm not looking forward to that New Year's Day fixture at the stadium. Like that will be interesting. Threats today though, Andy. Obviously, we've seen what they did at Anfield. They're going to be coming here. We're off the back of that as well, trying to assert their game. What do we have to worry about in Sunderland?
Well, I mean, Broby's come out of the team, and Paul they brought in Isidore, and which surprised me because I thought he did really well against Liverpool. It'll be a flat back five.
Yeah.
You know, they will drop in deep. The manager's intelligent. He'll be respectful. Like, you know, I don't think they're going to come and press and ask questions of us, which I thought they did against Liverpool. I just think we move the ball too well, and we'll play through that press. You know, with our overloads that we create. So I expect it to be flat. Then our 10s are massive in Xerxes and Foden. They're going to be huge today because our wide men will be absolutely almost man for man locked on very quickly. So those two 10s become so important to us today, and I think that's where we'll win the game.
See, I think they went to Anfield the other night, they're believing that they could win.
Yeah.
With the way they played, with Robbie up front. I thought he'd done well.
Yeah.
But swapping him for Isidore today, Isidore's quick, he's a clever player.
Yeah.
You know, so if they're going to come and sit in, they're going to look, his movement's really, really good.
Yeah.
So if they're going to sit in and look at us in the break, he'll be a real threat for us.
He'll be a threat to
Not them, sorry. And Lefebvre in midfield.
Yeah.
The little number 10, he makes things happen. Set piece delivery is really good. So I honestly think they're going to sit in, look at Lefebvre, put it in behind us, and see how we deal with it, you know. But we've had to deal with that many times before.
Yeah, we have indeed. Right, gents, let's take a little pause here. We're going to bring you kind of all around the stadium when we do Matchday Live. We're going to get some live reaction now from fans on the concourse here at the Etihad Stadium. They're here to watch the game against London. Their reaction to Aston Villa's 2-1 win, 95th minute winner for Aston Villa. Let's see what some of our Blues made of that.
Obviously the game was excellent. Nice to see Arsenal conceding 2 goals, despite their great defence and their wonderful away record, which we now think is 1 loss and 2 draws. And good to see such a sloppy last goal. So, yeah, I might even watch Match of the Day tonight, you never know.
Massive result for us. I think that fires up the players a lot more now. The gap's only going to be 3 points now, so we'll see what happens in the Sunderland game. That's all that has to be said, really.
It's a great result, but there's still 2 points in front and there's a long way to go, so I think we need to do the business today because they're a good team, Sunderland. They're doing well. So, yeah, we just got to look after ourselves and everything will take care of itself like usual.
For Andy to leave.
That was some of our Manchester City fans at the stadium reacting to Aston Villa's 95th minute winner against Arsenal. Obviously the job is still to be done today, Paul. The players will know about that result though, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they will, but they'll be difficult, but they'll try and put it to the back of their heads. They'll know that result will mean nothing if they don't get 3 points today.
No.
And they're experienced enough to know that themselves, but some of them deep down they will be thinking we can go 2 points behind today. Yeah. So we need, even regardless of that result earlier, Aston Villa beating Arsenal, I expect them to be really, really at it today.
Yeah. And you said that the minute you came into the studio.
I just feel like the energy, you know, from the last minute goal from Foden, which led into the, you know, scoring 5. I'm confident we'll score 3 or 4 today. Yeah. I think we'll create 8, 9, 10 good chances today. It's just making sure we keep the back door shut because a 1-0 win will be enough.
It will indeed. As you can see, the players are slowly making their way back into the tunnel, so it's not long to go before we'll hand over to our commentary team, which, Andy, you are doing today alongside Alistair Mann. So before we let Andy go, though, I'm just going to bring you this. There was a huge weekend happening across sport. Of course, it is the final race in the Formula 1. Lando Norris hoping to secure that. We have got our very own Jolien Lescott and Michael Richards. They are over there with Etihad, and we can see what they're doing over there.
Nah, this is cheating. Oh, where's he going? Yes, come on. I'm flying first. Is that me? Sure, you in the robot? I'm cruising over here. Look at the plane. Awesome. Nah, this is not. This is cheating. Oh, where's he going? Where did you go? I'm on a beach. Oh, there's Aguero, the statue. Donnarumma. No. You in the jungle? No, I'm in Hanoi, me suddenly. You got the hang of it. I'm on a train track. Uh-oh. I'm getting the boosts. Yeah. I'm alive. I'm alive first. What? Is it? Etihad.
beyond borders.
The first corner. Oh my gosh, the first corner is going to be madness on Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah. And the elevation as well. I didn't know it was that elevated until I came. I've seen the track before, but yeah, the first corner is impressive.
You know what, the cars though?
Yeah, the noise.
You know what, I was doing some filming back in the UK and I brought an F1 car for me to try. I'm too big to fit in it.
Well, obviously. I could have told you that.
I thought I could have fit in it, no? No? Oh, maybe not.
Lando, being English and that, fellow Brit, so hopefully Lando wins. But they're all obviously unreal drivers, so.
You know what, it's difficult because having watched the documentary, I won't mention the name, branding issue, you know?
You're part of that company.
You said it, not me, baby. Anyway, I think Verstappen was made out to be a bad guy, and I've met him 3 times in real life, and he's the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
And because I worked with him, I'm rooting for Verstappen.
Okay.
But you know who's gonna win? Piastri. Everyone can say, yeah.
I'm not mad at that either. I'm not mad at anyone, but yeah, if you're asking me who I want to win, Lando, just being English. Off the track, I'm going to say Lewis, just for the fashion. I enjoy the fashion element that he brings to the sport. On the track, more conservative.
Yeah, you're more a Norris. Everything's clean and nice. Russell.
Yeah.
I'm more of Verstappen. Take all the risk. I will crash someone if need be.
And
there's evidence of that on the go-kart.
Gasly. He's had a few bumps.
Gasly.
That could be you.
Yeah.
Gasly, he's had a few bumps in the past, so yeah.
And who I'd want? I mean, Lewis is a king, isn't he?
Yeah,
you gotta say Lewis.
You want to be Lewis. You want to be Lewis.
He's a king.
Jolien and Micah there in Abu Dhabi ahead, of course, the Formula One final race. And here are some pictures from moments before. Here in the Etihad Stadium, Erling Haaland being presented with a very, very special match ball, celebrating his 100 goals, with a frame there as well from our very own Mike Summerby. A very, very special moment. And Paul, I know we spoke about it again at the start of the show, but it's you can see on the ball and on the poster the variety of finishes, and we can go through them. Well, you can look at them here, but against every opponent, basically, a few hat tricks in there. He's an unstoppable force.
He is, and we spoke about it before. Look, that's an amazing picture actually, but it's all the types of goals. There's volleys, there's right foot, there's left foot, even a couple from outside the box, headers, sliding it past the goalkeeper, taking it round the goalkeeper. It's incredible the rate that he's scoring goals, and as I said, the different types of goals that he's scoring as well. And this is so cool, the match ball.
You said the match ball's great, but also I think that, even Dad, I think this has been done so well, and that was a great one as well recently when the really number 9 strike, when he bullies the 2 defenders, and
nothing better.
Are you surprised? I mean, even the number of the hat tricks as well that he's had is quite phenomenal as well. And it feels like in here that there could have been another 3, 4, 5 hat tricks on another day.
But yeah, especially the first couple of seasons, when he was on 2 goals and Pep was taking him off after 60 minutes. He wasn't even finishing games. He wasn't even close to finishing games. So, the rate, we keep repeating ourselves, the rate that he scored goals is incredible. Nothing like it. And, hopefully we're sitting here soon with 200
and we'll just keep on going. We'll need a big poster if they put them all on one. Right, let's take a little moment then to reference this. Thank you, Paul. I'm going to take that off you. I'll keep this here just because I'm never going to get to see this again. Right, I wanted to just get your final thoughts. We're of course playing Sunderland today. Huge point for them at Anfield, as you said, they should have got the win. But what do you want to see from City today? Why do you think he's gone for Shirky starting over Reinders? That's the one change from the Fulham game.
I think Andy made a great point about Reinders before, about getting the ball sort of into Erling before, and Reinders has got the energy to run in behind because Fulham will leave space in behind. But I think today, the way Sunderland are looking like they're going to set up with 5 at the back, they'll have 4 sitting in front. Players like Cherky and Phil are going to be so important to get into the little pockets of space to draw players out, because they're going to be really narrow on how they defend, and they're going to leave virtually no spaces down the side. But when you've got that little bit of magic, that Cherky's got to open things up and fill.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably the reason why. Nothing against Reinders, I thought he was excellent, the role he played the other night there, but today's going to be a completely different game.
And obviously defensively as well, Paul, we've spoke about they've been a little bit unlucky, City, in that they seem to be conceding from every shot on target. You know what Ruben Diaz is like at the back, does not like conceding any goals. They're going to be really pushing and trying to fight for a clean sheet, but it is going to be hard.
I would have thought them, the back four, Ruben especially. We know he takes pride in his defending, and the big man, GG and goal. He's not used to conceding the goals that he's conceded. 4 goals in one game, the level he's been playing at and why he came in here. So they'll be hurting, and they'll want to make sure that what happened against Leeds last week after being 2-0 up in cruising, by the way, it just wasn't 2-0 up, to let them back in, and especially the Fulham game the other night there. But I'll go back to it again. I think the confidence and the boost you get from getting 6 points out of 2 games, that maybe you should have really only got 2 points out of, going into this game today. I don't think we'll see the same mistakes again.
No, I completely agree, and that's what I want to hear as well, Paul. We've not got long to go. Now remember, you can get commentary on the Manchester City app with Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison, who was with us on the build-up to today's game. He has now gone off to join Alistair Mann, so make sure you join them once we head over to kick-off. They'll be able to guide you through the first half and the second half. Sunderland, you mentioned their striker as well. How do you think they're going to get on defensively, trying to contain the big man when we see how many goals that he can score?
Look, I think the back three will look to just keep Erling quiet. But we said earlier on the show that if you're 2 central defenders or 3 central defenders are concentrating one player that much, that's yet again why I think Cherky's come in the team, because it's going to leave space for them. Jeremy Doku has been on fire. So we've got to look at your Phils and even Bernardo Silva, the technical players in the team, Cherky, Jeremy Doku, to go and open things up and make things happen, which hopefully one of the centre-halves are going to have to come out to negate that, and will leave space for the big man.
Also, I just wanted to do a mention on him because I just think very quietly we're seeing how much we're leaning on him and needing him. Nico Gonzalez. Obviously, it's not even been here a full year yet, I don't think.
No, January.
But we're now starting to see him really step into that number 6 role now. I've quietly been really pleased with how he's getting on, and as they say, I think he's the only player that is consistently starting at the moment because it's so important, that position.
I think he's been excellent, Kel. People forget he's 23 years of age.
Yeah.
And when he came in, obviously Rodri was ahead of him and was always going to be, and he struggled to get to grips with it. But what people didn't realise was he wasn't a 6.
Yeah.
When he was playing in Portugal, he was an 8. It was more of a box to box. Scored quite a few goals from him as well, which we've seen he can do. It takes time to adjust in that position, especially in a Man City and a Pep team. And he's obviously a very intelligent kid because he's listened, he's worked in it, and I think he's been better than really, really good. He's been excellent.
Pep spoke about that as well, how coachable that he is as well, and alongside as well what he's been doing with Nunes and Nico O'Reilly in the fullback positions as well. They've also been very good again in positions that weren't naturally their position. Is that all down to coaching now?
It's all down to coaching, but coaching staff, Pep, everybody give them the credit they want. But you've got to look at the football intelligence of the players as well. They were both attacking midfielders.
Yeah.
And for them to get their head round getting into fullback, I bet you, and I don't know, when they both played at right back and left back for the first time, they'll be thinking, what's the manager doing here? I've never played here before in my life. But the way they've adapted to it, I think Matheus Nunes has been excellent this season. For me, Nico O'Reilly has been one of the players of the season for us so far.
I agree.
Not just because of the way he's adapted to it, the way he's played.
Yeah. Defensively and defensively.
He's been excellent. I'll never forget the Liverpool game here. I've never seen him as physical with Mo Salah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then when he gets on the ball, you can tell he's a creative midfielder because he uses it so well.
Yeah, does indeed. Right, well, we just saw the players there in the mezzanine. It's flown by today. Paul, thank you as always. Don't worry, we're going to be back at half-time and full-time. Andy Morrison is with Alistair Mann, who's got commentary on the Manchester City app, and the players are making their way out. So, Paul, quick prediction, please, sir.
I'm going to go 3-1, Man City.
Love that from you, Paul. 3-1 from Paul Dickov. Right, Manchester City fans, thank you for joining us. Come back at half-time. Now sit back, relax, enjoy the game, enjoy the commentary. The final thing for me to say, as always, come on, City.
Thank you, Kel. Players in the tunnel, looking focused and ready. It is a big afternoon in the light of very recent events, just about 90 miles away from here at Villa Park. City make their way alongside Sunderland in the tunnel. Granit Xhaka at the front of the Sunderland queue, Bernardo Silva at the front of the City one. Just feels like this could be a big day in the circumstances of what we've witnessed already earlier this afternoon.